Hey there, friends. I am so excited to announce that Jenny Parks is going to be our guest on May 9th. She is going to give us a wonderful trunk show on all the quilts that she's made mistakes on and show us how she overcame those mistakes. So I hope that you'll join us on May 9th. You can click the link in the description box to join us. It's free your first month, so come join us and learn all the things that Jenny has to teach us. And we'll see you on May 9th. Enjoy this interview that I had with her. Do you want to tell us more about what you're going to present to our virtual quilt guild?
Absolutely. So my lecture is going to be a combination trunk show and showing you all the mistakes that I've made. Yes, even the pros make lots of mistakes. I call it every quilt is a learning quilt, because I firmly believe that. Every quilt, every project has something to teach you. And if you focus on that and learning, figuring out what it is in that project and trying to pursue excellence in that particular project, then you'll improve over time. I think a lot of quilters, we create UFOs, right? We start on something like, oh, I can't, it's not working, or, it's not the right fabric, or I can't get that technique just right. I can't make it perfect. And I think we stress ourselves out a lot by saying it's to be perfect. But if you are looking at, okay, what am I going to learn here? What am I going to take from this? As opposed to, this quilt has to make me look perfect, or I really want it to be in a museum. I mean, we get that, right? I get that, like that magnum opus thing where you're in a museum, like, oh, this quilt should be my magnum opus. It will hang, and the family will gather around this hip. Oh, mother, this, and you get insight what this quilt is supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
It's just a quilt. It's just fabric.
Yep.
and it's your chance to learn from it. So that's what this lecture is all about. I'm actually showing you my mistakes and the challenges that I had to overcome, and what I did to solve those problems. Because I think every quilter faces those all the time and has to deal with the seam ripper.
So, yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. That's going to be so much fun. I am so excited to see all the fun quilts that you've made. So
and the mistakes.
Yeah, and all your mistakes too, because we can learn from that, right? You don't learn unless you make a mistake. So yeah, it's perfect.
True. Yeah.
When did you start quilting?
I started quilting. Well, I've kind of been familiar with sewing all throughout my life. My grandmother taught me hand embroidery, and my mom would sew. There was always a little Elna sewing machine stuffed in the closet. You could take it out when you wanted to burst into creativity. I was homeschooling my girls, and we were going through kind of like a home ec type of thing. And the next project coming up was quilted placemats. And so I thought, all right, I better take a crack at this so I know what I'm doing. Yeah. I know what I'm teaching. And I started it, and I'll be honest, I went to Joann's and I picked out fabric and I put it together and thought, this is awesome. I love what I did here. This is fascinating. And I mean, I just dove in. I dove in. I contracted quilt pox. There's no cure. There's no cure.
No. Once you get that bug, it's done. You're done.
I know, right? Some way or another, there's going to be fabric involved here.
Yeah, right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Who inspired or helped you get started?
Oh, so I would like to be able to say that my grandmother taught me, or so-and-so, or whatever. Not really. I did have a friend who was a quilter, and I would go over there. I'd take my girls over there, and she had a pack of girls. We were all homeschooling, and so I'd go over there like once a week, and we would, for a while, and we would quilt, we would sew, and things like that. So she kind of helped me and encouraged me, nudged me along. But I have to say, I was a vicarious quilter for a long time. I would go to the library, and I'd kind of pull every book I could, right? The big stacked limit that you could take out, and I'd just read it, and I'd pull in videos. Oh, that's how far I go back, man. I was pulling videos and all those things that I'd watch. I was like, oh, that's a really good idea. Oh, I should try that. And for a long time, I didn't get the dedicated time to quilt that I wanted. I was frustrated because I couldn't get to it. But I learned so much through those things and watching different people. So I remember, oh boy, Eleanor Burns, I love her attitude and her streamlinedness. Alex Anderson, I think I watched all of those Simply Quilt when it was back on HGTV. I would record the stuff. Fonza Porter's Love of Quilting. Yeah. So all of those, I feel like all of those kind of fed in there. But I have to say, I would say this, my color hero It's Jenny Bayer.
Oh
She's one of
yeah.
my absolute heroes. I
Cool.
love her stuff.
That's
Love it.
awesome. That's so fun. You were just self-taught and you just kind of dove in and absorbed as much as you could. And here you are today.
Yep.
Pretty
Yep.
amazing. Cool. Did quilting help you through anything in life? Like sometimes you hear from quilters that say, quilting really was my therapy. It was really therapeutic for me while I was going through a hard time or something like that. Did you have a moment like that where quilting helped you through something?
I think for me, it might be a little bit of the opposite. I use quilting as this creative outlet. And if other things in my life are so exhausting or taking so much from me, I don't have that creative energy to pour into quilting. And I found that to be true. I've also found that, in 2020, what I found was really key is, there's so much in the outside world I have no control over. But when I sit down at my machine and I have my fabric and I have my pattern that I'm going to use and I have my thread and everything, it's mine. These are my choices and I can make those. And I think that, I really felt like I was losing a lot of the power over the things like that in my life, right? But knowing that I sit down and I do this, this is mine. What do I want to say? What do I want to quilt? What do I want to see? What is the finished product that I want? And so looking at it from that perspective, it's been really good for me. Finding out, and I think this is something I think you and I would both kind of resonate with this, that there is an importance of bringing beauty and comfort and wonderful things to look at out into the world and creating things that were not there before.
Yeah,
And I
definitely.
like to create out of that. So in that way, quilting helps me, encourages me, and gives me life and vitality. But like I said, if there's really hard, I mean, we went through a couple really hard seasons with my in-laws. My father-in-law stayed with us before he died, and we just so many things are just like pull away. But sitting down and knowing I have control, I can do this, I can sew what I want, I can make the pattern that I want to make. That is a very encouraging thing to me, and that I'm putting out something that can be beautiful, something that people will look at and say, "Oh, wow, I love that. That
Right.
wasn't there before." Yeah, that's what I get out of it. So,
Yeah, that's awesome. That's beautiful. How many patterns have you written yourself, and what is your favorite?
gosh, I have probably, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I've written 10. And then there's a few that are like, just one page things. I did for a while, I was doing demonstrations on TV, not on TV, on Facebook.
Uh-huh.
And then I would have a pattern to go with it, right? So if you like this demonstration, come and get the pattern. And it was just a simple PDF thing.
Yeah.
I think my favorite pattern is probably a Bumpy Road. And Bumpy Road is a drunkard's path, but I cut it all out from ombre fabric,
Oh,
Maywood
fun.
Studios Gelato Ombre,
Uh-huh.
right? And so what I had to do, because you have like it's one color on, like maybe dark on one end and light on the other, and they were all from fat quarters. That's all I was using. So how am I
Wow.
going to do this so that I always have a color differentiation, right? I don't
Mm,
want to, and there was every color in the rainbow, and I didn't want to have it where, like, oh, that's the same value. I can't see the design. I want to be able
hmm.
to see the design. So what I did is all the little pie shapes, right? I cut out of the top half of the fabric, so it'd be lighter, and all
Okay.
of the L shapes I cut out of the bottom half of the fabric.
Oh,
So it would
cool.
always be darker. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the whole process, figuring it out, lining it up and everything like that. And
Yeah.
that was fun. That was
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah, that's
That
my
sounds
favorite.
fun.
But I'm always like, okay, what's the next one? What am I gonna do next? I'm
Right?
always,
Yeah.
yeah,
Me
yeah.
too. Me too. Yeah. What's next? What's next? I
Okay,
think that's
I'm done with that
normal
one.
for
No,
most quilters, like that's why
yes,
we have so
yes.
many UFOs because we're like, what's next? Let's jump in. What's your favorite tool?
This is my favorite tool. Glue stick.
Glue stick. Awesome.
It's right here. It's always right by my sewing thing. I use it for beautiful mitered corners in my binding. I use it for those, you're trying to get these tiny little edges to sit down. They won't sit down. Glue
Yeah.
stick. No, yeah, it's my superhero.
Wow. That's
Glue stick.
awesome.
I love
Yeah. I would have never guessed.
it. Yep. That's my one crazy hack.
Yeah, right. That's awesome. I can't wait to see how you teach us how to use that. So tell us more about what you're going to teach us for our Society Quilting Club.
Okay. So I I had a binding that it was my cry for help. I was completing a quilt. I was working in a quilt shop. I worked in a couple local quilt shops here in the Denver area. And I had to finish this quilt and turn it in the next day to be photographed in a book.
Whoa.
And I'm like, I gotta finish the binding. I gotta finish this. And I'm telling you guys, it was all wavy. Bindings ain't supposed to be wavy, people.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was bad. And I thought, okay, that's it. I am done having these bindings that are disasters. I've got to find a way to make binding that is easy, that I don't need a special tool to figure out every time, because I get those upside down and backwards and I do it the wrong way. It doesn't work for me. Yeah. And that I can teach to beginners, because I teach beginning quilting. I want to be able to teach it to you. And that is fast and that is beautiful. And that's what I wanted. That's what I did with Beautiful Machine Binding. It fits all those categories. It's not, so I would say if I'm entering a quilt in a contest or something like that to be judged, a juried situation, I would still use the traditional method, but I think that this makes it, you want the quilt done, right? It's done, it's beautiful, it adds an additional design element, and I'm telling you, I can do a queen size quilt in probably 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
I mean, yeah. I like to sit down with a glass of wine and binge watch Downton Abbey like everybody else, but I don't have that kind of time. I have things to do, right? What's next? I gotta do the next thing. Yep. So that's what I teach, all of that, and it's really good.
Yeah.
The mitered corners, just beautiful.
Oh, beautiful. Awesome. I'm so excited to learn that. And I know our Society Quilting Club members are going to be just blown away. I know. So yeah. So exciting. What do you like to listen to while you're quilting?
Oh my goodness. Okay, this is a great question. I started listening to a podcast. That's what I do mostly. I mostly listen to podcasts. And now I have a lot of friends that are podcasters. Well, I think they're my friends. I don't know if they know me at all. But I listen to podcasts. I used to listen to true crime, but I kind of got burnt out on the true crime because I could solve it. Oh, ... Oh, it was him. I know. Okay, got it. Yeah, right. No mystery there anymore, right? My husband was saying, you've listened to so much true crime, you've gone down to true misdemeanors. I thought that was boring. I got to keep going. So I started listening to this podcast, Blurry Creatures. And it started with Bigfoot, and I thought, well, I've always been curious about that. Okay, well, just give it a listen. And I'm telling you, and there's like 200 some episodes. It is a story arc. I mean, it just starts with Bigfoot. It goes crazy places. And because it's so new, it's stuff I didn't know. It's ideas I hadn't thought of. I enjoy doing that. I enjoy having that in the background.
Yeah, cool.
That's mostly entertaining. Very entertaining.
Yeah. What's it called again? Blurry Creatures?
Blurry Creatures.
Okay. I'll have to look it up.
And there's several other ones now that have offshoot around that, but
cool. Yeah. Sounds fun. Yeah, I'm similar. I like to listen to something fictional, sometimes podcasts that are really encouraging, like Matt Tommy's or whatever, but just putting on something fictional for in an Audible or something. Yeah. Makes my mind go somewhere.
I love that too.
Yeah.
Listening to books. I used to listen to a lot of books. Yep. Maybe I'll circle back to it. Who knows?
Right. Well, do you want to add anything else or tell us anything more?
I'm so excited to be able to do this and to be able to do this on short notice. I'm so glad that you and I connected and that we're able to present this. Yeah. I love quilters. Like I said, I've been teaching in local quilt shops, and I've been teaching virtually for the last 4 years. And I've been in front of the camera quite a bit. I've done blocks of the month and things like that, demonstrations for Quilt Maker magazine, for Quilters newsletter when it was around, for McCall's, all kinds of stuff like that. So I've done a lot on video. I love this format. And I love being able to go into people's homes, kind of, I can see your studio, you can see mine, and
Yeah.
we can connect even though we might be so very far away. So I love being able to do that and being on camera and to present stuff and teaching and I hope that this is not the only time. I
I
hope that
know. Yes.
everybody loves it so much I can come back and do it again.
Yeah,
See,
definitely.
I'm already on to the next thing. What's
Right, right. There we go. Well, you had some exciting news the other day. Do you want to
I
tell us about
did.
that?
I did. So this quilt behind me, right?
Yeah.
Wait the right way. Okay. This quilt behind me is actually on the cover of McCall's Quilting right
Yay!
now. I know, it's so
So
excited.
excited.
Yeah, it was
So,
a
so
shocker.
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I am so excited to see you on May 9th and then again on May 18th. So, everybody, you need to join us for this fun event with my new friend
Yes.
Jenny. It's going to be so much fun.
It
So,
is
make
very
sure you
awesome.
click the link and come join us. Hey, thanks so much, Jenny, for joining me for that fun interview. It was so amazing to hear all of the cool things that God has brought through with your quilting journey and to be able to hear of your accomplishments. Congratulations. I'm so excited for you. And I can't wait to see all of you on May 9th when Jenny is going to give us her trunk show presentation. So make sure that you register in the description box below. The time is 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's 6 p.m. Mountain and 5 p.m. Pacific if you need help with that math there. You also get the replay of this event for up to 90 days. So if you're not able to join us on May 9th, we will miss you, but you can still watch it at your own time, your own pace for 90 days in our private portal that you'll get access to. So make sure that you go to the description box and click the link and then go sign up, and we'll see you then.